you see me like miking up and shit, right though? Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. Okay.
Welcome in, everybody, live here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, getting ready to go racing here tonight. Proud to kick off Season 3 of the Modified Division here on the I-85 Asphalt Series. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to go racing here tonight for what's going to be an epic showdown event at the LA Coliseum. We got about 18 modified drivers rounded up in tonight's field, looking to make something shake here tonight. Who is going to find their way up through the point standing all years long with a brand new format is in play. The Dash for Cash here at the LA Coliseum around this 0.25 mile asphalt oval. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are locked in and loaded on the TikTok channel, go ahead and press that like button and press that follow button as we zoom down here into the main broadcast. Can welcome in live on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. I will now bring in my guest here and co-post partner tonight in Neil Rutt. Neil, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Nick. Thank you for having me. Excited to get this season kicked off. New formats, new heat race, new everything. We're going to go into tonight's event taking 5 cars out of these time trial events, which will lock them into the feature guaranteed. Then we will go over to the heat race, where we will have 10 to 11 drivers go around this mighty short track for 15 laps to secure the rest of the field. It's going to be a good one. Sparks are going to fly tonight. Should be a pretty good event.
A pretty good event indeed. It's going to be 125 laps. You heard our co-post of Neil Rutt. Neil will be in full control of the field here tonight, making sure that things are mighty fine for us as we bring you all the action here tonight at the LA Coliseum. Qualifying is currently on our way, and we are gladly appreciating you guys tuning in here over to the TikTok page. Ladies and gentlemen, as these guys begin to qualify in the rest of tonight's field, we will go ahead and throw up tonight's national anthem live here in California. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now jump back up into your seat. Things are getting ready to get down, dirty, and wicked here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and we'll bring the music back up. Welcome back into the booth here, Neil Rutt, as we are getting ready to kick off the LA Coliseum. What do you think is going to be the hot topics here tonight with what these drivers are going to have to face as we bring up tonight's keys of the race?
So yeah, tonight, you know, these boys out here are going to have to use those bumpers. Those are going to be the key things around this track. The bumpers are going to be used all throughout the race. We're going to have to manage that paint. The sticky paint on the inner infield is going to wear these tires out sliding off the corner. And the key thing for number 3, don't get pushed around. Don't let the Madhouse style get you.
Don't let the Madhouse style get you indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Neil, you've actually been inside of modifieds in real life at the Walt Stadium in New Jersey. What are some of the things that could happen inside of these race cars being so touchy to the parts with the exposed open wheel tires on the ends of the race cars, as well as suspension being exposed and all that great goodness?
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to keep those right fronts clear. In real life, these things are around $1,500 to replace on the right front, so they're not fun to repair and fix everything every single week. Pretty much, you know, the style, it doesn't get as hot as a late model would because it's open cockpit, open wheels, everything is flowing very nicely. So these drivers should have a cool, calm head tonight, hopefully, for the most part, for us to make it a little bit easy up here in the booth. Other than that, you got to just ride around. The tires don't wear as much. They were 15-inch slick, big tires on these things compared to the NASCAR and the late model stuff that's only used 8 to 10 inches of tires. It's going to be a key thing for them to just keep everything going and just keep their head straight.
And ladies and gentlemen, Neil, I think we are getting ready to have the engines fired up here inside of the I-85 Asphalt Series. We get our modifieds down here. You want to go ahead and kind of walk us through exactly what's going to happen tonight here? I can go ahead and tell these guys that they are going to be 2 separate heat races. Neil, kind of go ahead and fill them out how it's going to shake out here tonight.
Yeah, so these guys, you know, they're going to have 15 laps here. Everyone will make the field tonight, so no one will be going home from these events. This is just a way for us to set the back half of the field. Tonight we're going to have Mike Doyle starting on the pole. Last season had a pretty good shot at running a couple races, almost won a couple of them. Used up the right front a little bit too much, you know, what he was liking out of his M&D Motorsports number 00. Then in second place we have Patrick McPeak, newcomer in the 61. Third place, we're going to have Aaron Evans, another newcomer. We have a bunch of new guys in this league, which would be good for them to get some experience, but also at the same time, a lot of the old guys might not be favors about these new guys here. Third place, we're going to have Trent Johns in the number 1 machine. New fast guy here, but he's also fast in all the other leagues. He tends to stick out pretty good with his raw speed. Ace Throckmorton, another new guy. We're going to say that all night here. He's another quick guy here. He showed a lot of speed in practice, was the fastest guy actually in practice. So we're going to see if he could carve his way through the field here and keep that right front underneath him. Josh Moore starting 6th place, another new guy. In the 919. Don't know much about him. Seems like a pretty nice guy. Hopefully he just gets, you know, comfortable behind the wheel and rides around and gets some good track time here. Nate Hall in 7th position in the 18 machine, Weekend Woodsman. Don't know all these guys' sponsors, know some of them here just by looking at the cars. Another new guy. He's pretty much a rookie in most of this aspect here of this iRacing sim racing. So we will see how he goes and see if he can keep his nose clean throughout this heat race.
And we appreciate that. Neil Rutt III giving you the opening starting grid right here at the I-85 Asphalt Series. Season 3 kickoff for the WHELEN Modified Division at the LA Coliseum. As these guys will get a couple laps around the LA Coliseum to get the temperatures up inside of the motors, get the air pressures nice and going. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil told you best. Looks like we're going to have 7 modifieds round out heat race number 1. There will be 2 heat races here tonight. The dash for the cash, starts here tonight, Neil. And what these guys have in store, it's got to be a lot ton here coming into turn 1 and 2. What do you really expect? Do you expect these guys to start beating and banging right away, or do you want to try to save something, knowing that the cash is on the line about 10 races from now?
Yeah, so, you know, big money purses here we got coming here. Our new thing for the I-85 series, we have not seen that yet. So we're going to see if these guys can go. We're getting ready to go green here. Let's see if we can keep these bumpers clear.
And green flag is in the air for heat race number 1, season 3. Gets the kickoff here at the LA Coliseum. Side by side, Mike Doyle, Patrick McPeak battle here on lap number 1 as they sail down into turn 3 and 4. Caution flag flies in turn 3. Mike Doyle's backwards here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Pile up, we got a parking lot here at the LA Coliseum. Everybody's gonna have to try to figure this one out, get up and move. It looks like if there's any damage to most of them, it looks like it might be this Aaron Evans Hooters machine. We'll back that ass up here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for the instant replay and take a look and see exactly what happened here to what's going to be Mike Doyle coming off the race lead here for the the heat race here tonight at the LA Coliseum. Neil, I'm not sure exactly what happened here. Down into turns 1 and 2. Working their way back to down the back straightaway, heading down into turn 3 and 4. We'll check it out here. Mike Doyle looks like he just gets ran over into turn 3 and 4. Contact everywhere in a parking lot in turn 3, Neil.
Yeah, Aaron Evans just got in a little too hot. These guys are ready to race. They've been waiting all year for this. They're all excited. Just sometimes, you know, you get a little bit overzealous and you lock those brakes up. Maybe you didn't set your brake bias back to the race position from when you went in qualifying. A lot of times guys run a lot heavier or a lot lighter in the brake bias for the front to get the cars to rotate through the corners here. Aaron, just example of that, just got on the brakes a little too late, spun Mike Doyle around. Hard break for Mike Doyle. He looked like he didn't go back too far due to the fact that the stack up of the whole field, so should be okay. Damage really shouldn't be a big effect here tonight with all these guys because it's a short track. Hopefully, you know, these guys gather it back up here for the next restart.
And Mike Doyle involved in the accident there from Middletown, New Jersey, up your way, Neil. Looks like they'll get the one to go racing this time around. No choose cone yet inside of the I-85 Asphalt Series. That dash for cash starts here right now, in heat race number 1, trying to set the field. We've already set our Fast 5 drivers. We'll have that here for you in just a moment. We'll see how things kick out here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, Neil, as they head down into turn 3, getting ready to kick off the restart. So it'll be Patrick McPeak bringing them through the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air back here at the LA Coliseum, kicking off season 3 of the WHELEN Modified Division. They're able to work their way down to turns 1 and 2, back down to turns 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Patrick McPeak 61 machine. He has the race lead, but we got a clusterfuck back here in the turn 1. Contact's made to the number 11 of Aaron Evans. His contact 48 machine. Josh Moore goes around in his number 919 modified. The caution flag is out here at the Coliseum for the second time here. We will back that ass up here and take a look for Josh Moore and the number 919 machine. We already have the replay cam up because we forgot to change it back, and we apologize for that. So riding along with Patrick McPeak as the race leader. Looks like Josh Moore is the guy that's going to be our victim here. We'll ride out that tail end of this 919 modified. See what happened out there behind them. Guys getting collected here. The blue modified on the outside down into turn 3 and 4. Neil, contact made from looks like going to be the at least 72 machine of Aaron Evans make contact with him. Not sure if he got any help. Kind of walk us through what happened right there.
Yeah, it looks like actually the 72 of Ace Throckmorton was the one to get into the back of Josh Moore. Same incident as before. Just, you know, got it a little too hot and, you know, locked the brakes up. Kind of rolled off of it a little bit, it seemed like, which kind of let him release the car. Which, you know, kind of let the car have a lot more roll center here, which caused him into the back of the 919. Like I said, all new guys. These guys don't know how a lot of these guys race against each other, so you don't really know what the guy in front of you is going to do. He might be an early breaker, he might be a late breaker. It kind of sets it up for a little bit of disaster, but we got a long 10-race series for these guys to learn with how each other are going to drive.
Well, we got a long race series. Now, we got a long season ahead of us. It's only heat race number 1, the opening laps here of season 3. We still got a main event to go through here tonight that every driver will advance out of these heat races too. So you really got to keep your cool. You see Ace Throckmorton here in this number 72 orange and white modified coming to the 1 to green now. Gets the EOL penalty, walking us through the penalties and how they'll work here inside of the I-85 Asphalt Series. Was it, Neil, any contact made got you a EOL, or was it if you were maliciously the one that caused the wreck got you the EOL? Kind of walk us through that as they get ready to come through the Geico restart zone.
Well, yeah, so, you know, you're going to get the EOL, you know, pretty much for being the back car. It's just kind of the nature of design here. You know, you can't really can't really fight the cause when, you know, you got to give the guy in front of you a chance. You know, if you're sitting there fighting with him the whole time and just letting the guy, you know, eat your back bumper, eventually you're going to have to, you know, learn something different, change the line around, or do something. You can't just drive over these guys. It's going to be one way to not, you know, not keep your position tonight.
Keep a position, track position, I shall say, is going to be key number one for sure here on the Booty Suit Racing channel. We got about 10 laps to go here in heat race number one. It's been 2 quick cautions already, and these guys are going to have about a 5-minute warm-up session after tonight's heat races to redial in these modifieds. What would be the first thing that you would be going to search for, Neil, if you had your chance out here as we fly high above the racetrack with Billy the Blimp driver counting down the laps here in Season 3's LCQ heat race number one?
Well, I'll definitely say with the track, it's probably going to be a lot cooler going into the nighttime race. I would definitely set my brake bias out on that, on those caution on those warm-up laps. Sorry for the little bit of a mistake there. Don't know where I'm at the moment. You know, got to set that brake bias. The brake bias is going to be key. These front rotors are going to be glowing tonight. You fans are going to see sparks beating and banging, but mainly those rotors are going to be glowing cherry red hot. You will not miss them tonight.
Not going to miss them, just like we're not going to miss this 00 of Mike Doyle from Middletown, New Jersey. Spun around there on the opening lap of, well, contact made to this 00 on the opening lap of tonight's heat race. Guys are spread out quite well through here, but we've got a 3-way battle for the race lead. Mike Doyle's made his way back up through the field, but it's been all Patrick McPeak in his 61 machine as those glowing rotors start to show up here inside of the 61, climbing the banking here, if there is any in turn one.
Yeah, pretty much flat. Mike Doyle gets a little bit out of shape here going into the corner. Gives a spot over to Trent. Been running pretty good, climbed his way back after being spun early. You know, now he's got to get himself back into the rhythm, try to get back by that one car here and chase down his 61 as the, you know, feature Lorenzo. He got 2 laps to go.
Patrick McPeak, has some of the quicker lap times on the racetrack right now. It looks like Trenton Johnson, these guys work their way back around on the field. Mike Doyle loses a spot there to Trenton Johnson, this number 1 modified. Trent Johns making his season debut here inside of the I-85 Asphalt Series. White flag presented by AFLglobal.com for the number 61 modified of Patrick McPeak. He works down the back straightaway, Neil, down into turn 3, headed towards the checkered flag.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. Trent ain't going to get to him, though, coming off the last corner. Patrick McPeak picks up his first heat race win in his opening night here. Great job by everyone. We gathered it back up a little bit. You know, a little rough start. Like I said, these guys have been waiting. They've been hungry for these races here. Now we got them here. They're just going to have to pick their battles. It's going to be a long 125 lap race here tonight. They're going to just have to file in and figure out what's going on.
Not to figure out what's going on for sure, but what a race right there on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We'll pull up the Heat 1 results if they will show for us. Not entirely sure what the hell's going on right there. Anyways, while that figures itself out, we got one more heat race scheduled in tonight's book, Neil, and it's right here in front of us. I'll go ahead and get us kicked off tonight with the starting grid here for heat race number 2 on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for the WHELEN Modified Division. On the front row here will be the 2 starting modifieds of Michael Johnson and Dakota Pignataro, and I'm going to do it a little bit different here. We're going to get you guys nice up and close meeting some of these drivers. Is hopefully you guys will head on over to the YouTube page located in the top right portion of your screen for all of the full races. On the pole will be the number 40 modified of Michael Johnson, and starting on the second row will be the number 99 of Dakota Pignataro. And Neil, if you want to go ahead and do the next row, we'll alternate back and forth.
Yeah, and in third place we're gonna have Lane Woods here, or Steven Crouch. It depends. He goes by a little bit of different every time we're behind the wheel with him. Fourth place, we're going to have the 01 of Grayson Underwood.
Grayson Underwood's going to start in that 4th place spot. Behind him will be a returning favorite modified driver, a fan favorite from High Point, North Carolina, of Chris Schaffner. And he'll share the same row as the number 82 from Baltic, Connecticut, of Cody Klauser.
Starting in the 6th spot is going to be Chris Schaffner of the 22 car. We have a little bit of issue with someone not get taken off from the start here. And then in the 7th position, we're going to have Michael Ponder Jr.
Michael Ponder Jr. will work his way up through the front half of the field, and these guys will get set to go side by side for low. We got trouble down here on the bottom of the racetrack. Somebody's already into the inside wall. Not sure exactly who that was. Maybe it looked like Chris Schaffner, that number 92. No, not Chris Schaffner. Grayson Underwood in that number 92 modified. Down hard into that outside wall. So 15 laps is what's going to be scheduled here for heat race number 2. Just like race number 1, lights are off on top of the base car here at the LA Coliseum. Peter, the base car, should hang that lift down on the pit lane. You're getting ready to watch heat race number 2, kicking off season 3 of the modified division. Green flags in the air in California.
Oh, a little contact there between Grayson and Lane Woods' teammates. Fighting it hard, going into the corner to see if they gather it back up. Keep their noses clean. Oh, he dives them back in, stacks them back up again.
And a huge shot right there. Didn't mean to cut you off, Neil, from Chris Schaffner. Like it damaged up. We got another contact down here in the turn 3 and 4. Just talking about it, Neil. Guys, we're starting to stack up off turn 2. Disaster here in turn 3. Chris Schaffner's around backwards here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We will have to back that ass up here for the instant replay, and we've left it on the replay cam again. I apologize. You got to say something, folks. We will back it up one more time, though. Chris Schaffner looks like he may have gotten his cage rattled a little bit there inside of that race car. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened to El Diablo. Contact to the number 92 right there, coming into turn 3, just trying to get on the brake. Nowhere to go off of turn 2, heading down the front straightaway, down the back straightaway, into turn 3. Contacts piled in here. We got a parking lot in turn 3 and 4 at the LA Coliseum. Cody Klauser's involved. Michael Ponder Jr. is able to get down on the brake. He avoids it. Chris Schaffner's involved. Grayson Underwood's involved. Big time wreck here in turn 3 at the Coliseum. We go back here on the main broadcast cam behind Peter the pace car. And this time we will switch it on over the TikTok. We apologize there. Back to the main broadcast cam. You're watching the Dash for the Cash live here at the LA Coliseum. Quick wreck here, just like heat race number 1, Neil.
Yeah, heat race 1. Sorry, we have a guy backing on the booth back here, trying to get a hold of me. Let me go get him real quick and get him away from us so we can do our job.
Looks like Peter the pace car will work off turn 3 and 4 to the Geico restart zone. We'll see if they'll get the one to go racing this time around. A couple fan favorites returning guys back here in heat race number 1 on the season 3 of the WHELEN Modified. A fan favorite, Neil, the number 99 Dakota Pignataro, Michael Johnson back in the field. Got a couple new guys as well, but this field right here looks like it's stacked with a whole bunch of guys from last season. So hopefully these guys can get their wheels together and we can get ourselves some green flag laps. We're racing at the quarter mile here in California. Peter the base car should hang the left down on the pit lane, getting ready to get the green flag at the LA Coliseum. Heat race number 2 back in action here after the quick caution flag. Only 2 laps into the event. Whoa, look, big time slide job right there for the number 92 of Grayson Underwood. He'll suck that outside wall, but here comes the number 92. He's stuck on that outside wall. Looks like he's got big side damage. Caution flag is yet to fly here. The number 92 of Lane Woods is rolling on the outside. Can these guys get around him? Caution flag's down into turn 3 and 4. Admin there gave him every chance to get off of the racetrack to try to avoid the caution flag. Dakota Pignataro has the race lead. Lane Woods was the guy that crashed here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel inside of this number 92 modified. Not entirely sure where things went wrong here tonight for Lane Woods in the heat race. He's going to have to get this thing fixed up, though, as we've got a whole feature right around the corner. The Nerf bar there with the number 80 of Cody Klauser. Excuse me, not Cody Klauser, of Chris Schaffner. Well, contact made back there. Everybody has to get on it. And I'm not sure entirely what happened to Lane Woods. Don't look like there's any damage, if any, to the Justin Brooks Designs ACR Racing Modified. They just have to get that thing fixed up and rolling here. We're back on the main broadcast cam, cleaning up the accident. Michael Johnson don't appear to have any damage. Neil, what are you hearing down there? What caused that one?
So I ran down there. I had to chase that guy off of our booth. He was hanging on the back of it, like driving us crazy, knocking on the door and everything. Had our pit reporter down there in pit lane. Seems like the MSD wire for the MSD box came loose on Lane Woods' car from the contact. Tends to happen a lot of times on these modifieds. They got open cockpits with a lot of things flying through them. Easy debris can come by and knock that thing loose. Hopefully Lane and the guys can get it fixed for the feature.
These guys are knowing, they should know at least, that they have a spot in tonight's feature. You just got to get there in one piece, and you don't want to make enemies while doing that. Peter the pace car hangs that left down on the pit lane. Second caution flag already here tonight. Green flag's back in the air. A quick launch for that number 99 of Dakota Pignataro as they climb down to turns 1 and 2, headed down the back straightaway, Neil.
Yeah, great launch here by Dakota. It looks like Michael Ponder's going to get the position. Nope, gets a little bit loose. Grayson Underwood gets back by him. We got Michael Johnson returning driver from last season. Didn't get as many wins as he would have liked. Going after our heat race ringer, Dakota Pignataro. A lot of guys in this team, he's one of those hard guys to get by. Let's see if Michael Johnson could get by him.
Oh, trouble in turn one. The leader, Dakota Pignataro, around out of turn two. Caution flag immediately for the number 99 as he spun around backwards here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. The third caution flag quick early, and he's able to get the pace car beat though and stay on the lead lap. We'll back that ass up here for the instant replay and take a look and see exactly what happened to Dakota Pignataro leading the race here at the LA Coliseum. We'll bring up the back that ass up replay cam here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, looking around the number 99 of Dakota Pignataro. Not entirely sure what happened to him. Taking a look here, Neil, with the number 99. Looks like he just got a little bit of help there from the number 40 of Michael Johnson, who locks up his brakes. And a big wheel spin there. Whoa.
Yeah, he definitely might have been dialing that brake bias back a little bit here and just slid the front going into the corner, drove into the back of Dakota. You know, it's going to put it, that's not what he's going to want to see because he was in great starting position going into this feature event. Now he's going to have to work his way back to the field here. Don't know if he's going to be able to do it with a little bit amount of laps left, but you never know. Anything could happen.
That's for damn sure. We will bring it back on the main broadcast cam as we get ready to go racing here at the heat race. And we could ever get this completed, Neil, and get over to that main feature race. These guys are having trouble getting around the racetrack currently with about 6 or 7, 8 modifieds on the track. What do you think we should expect tonight with about 20?
We're going to have a lot of beating and banging, that's for sure. Hopefully these guys watching all these heat races, they can understand what to do and what not to do. Most of the racing is pretty good for the most part. You know, it just, some guys just getting a little in over their heads here, diving into the corners, driving in too deep. As Michael Potter goes head on into the wall, diving in deep as I was saying that. Gathers it back up, the field gets by him, no issues. It just sucks for Michael Potter. He just had a chance to be on the pole there and it just fell back.
Michael Ponder Jr. and that number 13 on the front row all the way to the back. He's got trouble, and he's slow on the field, but we'll keep it green as they work their way back across the line, trying to pick off the final 5 laps here in heat race number 2. Glowing red rotors in every single one of these modifieds. It's led by Chris Schaffner, the number 22 machine. Cookout not on board this year with the number 22 of Chris Schaffner. And we're going to have to get used to seeing that one, Neil, as they work their way off the exit of turn 3 and 4. Working back, turn 2, working back across the front straightaway, getting ready to see 4 laps to go. Do they put the bumper to one another? Flying down into turn 1. And oh, right as I say it, Schaffner goes around into turn 1 and 2. Live here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel off the front nose of the number 40 of Michael Johnson. Not entirely sure who to blame there on that one. Grayson Underwood definitely got a piece of it, though. We'll back that ass up here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for the instant replay. And take a look, Schaffner, not happy with the way that he was just raced right there, talking about being able to get through all of the mayhem on the night's event. And next thing you know, you're wrecked. We'll back that ass up because I believe that was the wrong wreck that I had just shown you guys, and that is my apologies here. So as we back it up here for the instant replay cam, this is the one we were looking for. Schaffner down into turn 3 and 4, gets a little bit into the outside wall, and looks like Grayson Underwood cuts him no slack down into turns 1 and 2. Guys are piling up everywhere. See if we can't back that ass up one more time with the number 01 of Grayson Underwood. Schaffner gets tagged in that left rear, sends him around in the middle of the racetrack, down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Neil, the fabric Schaffner, is turned around.
Yeah, like I said, you know, it's these tight tracks. You know, these guys, they just gotta learn how to try to pick and choose. They're all in the show. You know, no one is going home tonight. You know, I understand they want to race and they want to get going, but you know, you're gonna be racing with these guys every other week in the I-85 Asphalt series here. You know, you don't want to make enemies. That's for damn sure. You know, you make enemies here in a modified. You know, the chrome horn tends to be used a lot of times.
Now we don't want to make friends, at least. You're racing for a purse prize, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news from the I-85 garage. Looks like the modified purse damn near reached $200 on the purse. And these guys are going to have to manage their way for the next 2 to 3 months, Neil, trying to make sure that they have a fighting chance come payday.
Yeah, the payday is looking pretty good for our first time here. You know, a lot of great sponsors. Thank you for everyone coming on board, helping us out here. You know, they have to just kind of figure out what's going on, you know, and keep their nose straight throughout this race and throughout the whole season. You know, there is points paying from 1st to 10th with extra bonuses for people outside of the top 10. So everyone has a chance for money. It's not just those top 10 guys, but guess what? The points don't reset. Anyone has a chance for this money.
Well, white flag is in the air for the number 82 of Cody Klauser. He's going to be one of the watched here down the back straightaway. Does Michael Johnson put the bumper to him here to kick off the season 3 modified? He'll throw a move down on the bottom side. Drag race across the front straightaway. Michael Johnson takes it there in the closing laps. What a move, Neil Rutt. Did you just see what I've seen? Michael Johnson dive bombs it down into turn 3 and 4 for the win here in the heat race number 2.
What a move by Michael Johnson. We were on our feet coming off of turn 4 in the booth here. That was amazing. Great respect out of both of those drivers there. Nice job by Dakota Pignataro getting back to P3. Let's see how these guys go out there for warm-ups. I hope they paid attention to me and get that brake bias set, because it's going to be a long night if they don't.
Well, it's going to be a long night either way. 2 heat races already in the book. Tons of caution flags flew around right there, Neil Rutt. As these guys continue to work around and dial in these modifieds, what is going to be the topics here tonight as we bring up the keys of the race one more time here on the TikTok cam? Wanting to know exactly how to use that Nerf bar. You've been inside of the modifieds. You've been around these bull rings in the United States of America. Kind of walk us through what you would do and how you approach tonight's event.
I mean, Nick, we saw it. Those Nerf bars being used. And I hope these guys call back to their chassis shops and have a boatload of them coming for the next race at Lanier, because we're going to need them again. We go to Lanier in 2 weeks. A little bit bigger track than this, a little bit more banking. We're going to be using them there too. You know, that paint we saw, a couple guys up front there sliding around, using it all as we see this schedule here popping up as it goes away from my screen, but back again. We got Lanier in 2 weeks, and then we go to New Smyrna, which will be a total game changer for these drivers. We go from 2 short tracks to New Smyrna to Oswego, the legendary Oswego Speedway. Monster tracks, 5/8 of a mile. We have nothing like that tonight in a week 2. These guys are going to have a chaotic schedule, changing it up for everyone. We're in for a good show for the rest of this year.
Damn sure in for a good show as you guys continue to look at the I-85 Asphalt Series remaining with a modified schedule. Here we'll bring up a couple of the sponsorships here. CloseoutBats.com, proud sponsor here within the I-85 Asphalt Series WHELEN Modified Division. These guys are going to have to manage it all night long and hit some home runs here tonight at the LA Coliseum. Wouldn't you say, Neil?
Just saying, you know, the home runs, the sponsors, get your baseball bats at Closeout Bats. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was so excited about those great closeout deals for those baseball bats for all your kids.
And ladies and gentlemen, here we are moments away from getting ready to have the admin go down there and talk to these guys for the warm-up session. Got about 3 minutes remaining here. I will go ahead and continue to wrap up a couple of the camera angle problems that we had during tonight's main broadcast cam as we cycle through tonight's sponsorship. Head on over to Maccabee Auto Services in Spartanburg, South Carolina, 864-256-1346 for all of your preventative maintenance needs. Winding down the clock here tonight at the LA Coliseum. These guys are definitely going to have to hit up Brandon Maccabee and his crew to go get their modifieds fixed up here the next coming weeks. Gill Moose Parking Lot Candle Company. Does your house smell like you know what? Make sure you go over there today. Tell them the I-85 Asphalt Series, excuse me, I. And they'll get you hooked up today on a candle. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like we are getting ready to have these guys mortified here tonight because we are getting ready to take on the Season 3 kickoff race live here in Los Angeles, California for the I-85 Asphalt Series WHELEN Modified Division. And Neil, 2 times in a row we've seen the 24 Modified of James Fountain go to victory lane for the championship. 1 time last year he didn't even have a win. How does things like this happen and things like being consistent and how it can provide you a stable season, but yet speed. I'm not really sure how I'm trying to go, but James Fountain's speed is what really kept him in the season in Season 2 for the Whelen Modified, but it was his consistency finishing that made him the champion come playoff time when yourself and Adam Fulford tangled at the Irwindale Speedway. And it looks like we got a major pileup here and not sure exactly what's going on. We are counting down the time. We got about 20 seconds remaining here in the warm-up session on tonight's Booty Scoot Racing Channel's Whelen Modified Division live here at the LA Coliseum for the NASCAR Clash at the Coliseum. We are getting ready to go racing here for what's going to be an epic showdown. Excuse me. Still got a couple more guys out here on the racetrack. We'll pull up tonight's main event qualifying, whatever you want to call it. Here is the qualifying results here tonight and how they'll shake out tonight's event. Dylan Thomas on the pole inside of that number 03 Southern Sim Machine. Dylan Thomas making his debut here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel. How does he work around the racetrack here, trying to work his way into the record books of the I-85 Asphalt Series? If we give it just a second, the Denison, Texas driver will lead him to the green here in the main event. Second place will go to the Princeton, North Carolina driver of Zach Evans, and Adam Peeler will shake out that third place spot. And no need for me to sit here and go down the road. You're getting ready to go on the racetrack as my co-admin and Neil Rutt III comes into tonight's main event live here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel. This is what they came for. The Dash of the Cash starts right now here in California, Neil.
Yeah, this is what we came for. I know you gave the top two already, but I'll restart it here and we'll go 6 by 6. We got Dylan Thomas, new guy from Texas. He's a dirt guy. He ain't an asphalt guy. He jumps into these modifieds and he's fast right out the gate. Last year we had Zach Evans in P2 tonight in the number 6 Me Fine Modified MND Motorsports. Showed some speed, didn't get into victory lane in the modified like he would have liked, but watch him out for tonight. Third place, we got Adam Peeler in the 27 Nurse Aviator Peeler's Candy Apple Ale. Beautiful modified on that thing tonight. Fourth place, we got Trace Daniels in the number 2 ACR Racing Modified. Take it away, Nick.
And behind him will be the number 100 South Boston, Virginia Modified driver of Declan Willis, a.k.a. known as as Stephen Crouch. And behind him will be the number 61 Modified. Let some laps there in his heat race of Patrick McPeak. And behind him will be the number 1 from McCurry County, Kentucky of Trenton Johnson. See if we can't get the caution extended here for the opening ceremonies here, getting the drivers introduced. And the number 40 of Michael Johnson, driving the number 40 Bass Pro Shop Tracker Modified here tonight. The heat race win there with an epic move. And on the outside of him will be the Middletown, New Jersey 00 of Mike Doyle. Behind them will be the Baltic, Connecticut driver of the number 82 Modified of Cody Klauser. And Crawfordville, Indiana's number 48 Modified of Aaron Evans. Driving the number 99 from New Bern, Dakota Pignataro. And driving the number 72 Modified, Ace Throckmorton. And behind him, driving the number 22 Modified, that's the Fabric Schaffner from High Point, North Carolina, of Chris Schaffner. And on the outside of him will be the number 919 Whelen Modified of Josh Moore. Behind him, trouble there in the heat race, driver of the number 601 of Grayson Underwood. Behind him will be the number 13. That's the Ranger, Georgia driver, the Dr. Michael Ponder Jr. And rounding out the final place spot, the number 92 ACR Modified of Lane Woods. Neil, that'll get all of our drivers set to go racing here tonight live on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel at the LA Coliseum. Dylan Thomas on the pole and You give me just a moment, I will lower down the volume session here on my screen so it will not be as loud as we get ready to take the green flag. Keys of the race are already up in the book, folks. We are getting ready to go racing for 125 laps here tonight. Peter the pace car should hang that left on the pit lane this time. Neil, what do you got to say? The Dash for the Cats is getting ready to go racing right here through L.A., California. And if you want to go to that pay window about 10 races from now, what are you getting ready to think we're getting ready to see?
I'm going to survive. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let some guys go, fill in my spots, figure out where I need to be as this race gets into the final 15 laps. The last 15 is the main key on these modified tires. If you can make them last that long, you'll be in a pretty good shot to collect the night's payout.
Payout going to be here in about 10 races, but it starts here tonight. Zach Evans fires off. We're racing inside of the I-85 Asphalt Series Whelen Modified Division live here at the LA Coliseum in a parking lot already into turn 1. And this is definitely California. They're parked like protesters in turn 1 and 2. Caution flag already flies on lap number 1. Caution already for the number 13. He's got his foot down on the brake. Huge wreck right there. Got about 14 drivers involved. We'll back that ass up here and take a look and see what happened on the restart. Back getting up here. All started up here in the front half of the pack, getting through the gearbox. Peter the pace car hung that left on the pit lane. Dylan Thomas slapped down on the gas in the 0-3. Zach Evans was behind him. Zach Evans got a way better jump than Dylan Thomas. Not entirely sure how that'll be admitted there. Well, contact made from the number 61. So Patrick McPeak will be our victim to start it here. We'll come back to him in just a moment as everybody begin to pile in here. So we will see if we can't ride around with the number 61 of Patrick Peak as it came off the front bumper of him. Neil starting this wreck right here.
Yeah, Patrick Peak just kind of drove it a little too hot. We've seen that a lot in the heat race. You know, it's lap 1. We don't want to see that happen in lap 1. It's going to be a long race. I'm pretty sure the Trace Daniels machine is not going to be having the 61 throughout the race here. Hopefully, you know, we don't see any retaliation, but once again, it's the modifieds. It's the mighty modifieds, and they come back to bite you a lot.
They definitely do. Patrick McPeak looks like he just got to run down here, try to get down on the brake, and it was just offset from that number 2 modified, sent him around, and I mean, it was just a parking lot over here, Neil, in turns 1 and 2. The pace car barely had room to get off the pit lane. Back here on the main broadcast camera, 2 abreast, the lights are off on top of the pace car, and quick cleanup there, not entirely sure what was going on with the rest of the guys. It'll be Dylan Thomas, Zach Evans. Zach Evans has been told that he needs to fire after the race leader of Dylan Thomas. He'll do a little bit better here. Contact made into turn 1 and 2, and holy shit, Cody Klauser up in the air, the ass in first. Some great guys on the brake right there, avoiding the trouble. Not entirely sure what happened. Caution flag out immediately before we can even get it up and going through the first gearbox. We'll back it up one more time. Feel like we just came out of the instant replay here on the Booty Skew Racing channel. We'll throw it right back in here, take a look and see what happened. This started about mid-pack through here on the Booty Skew Racing channel. That was the wreck from before. Excuse me, I apologize for that. So back it up here, get you the correct wreck that you are looking for. Everybody piling up here in the corner. Not entirely sure what caused it. Looks like the number 40 of Michael Johnson's going to get a little bit loose here inside of this modified. Get contact from the guy behind him, and holy shit, Cody Klauser gets lifted up in the air like an alligator. See if we can't ride on board with one of these drivers on that last wreck. Well, it was involved in that last wreck, I shall say, and see if it won't give us the view that we were looking for inside of the Booty Scoot Racing channel. This is the replay came right on with Patrick McPeak. Everybody's already locked the brakes up, and he's just gotten to get down on his quicker than everybody else did. Back it up right here. We'll ride with the 0-1 of Grayson Underwood. He looks like he may have gotten a piece of this accident here tonight. Green flag flies in the air here, riding with Grayson Underwood, and as soon as he gets down into turn 1 and 2, everybody is breaking. He gets smacked from behind. So back here on the main broadcast cam, Patrick McPeak's in the 14th place spot. The 11th place position goes to Lane Wood, Zach Evans, Adam Peeler, Dylan Thomas, the top 3 drivers. These guys have been able to avoid the disaster here tonight, Neil, and Hopefully these guys can get it all cleaned up before you know it. We're only going to have about 12, 13 modifieds competing for a chance at the money here tonight at the LA Coliseum, being paid out in about 10 races. Heading through the Geico restart zone here, Dylan Thomas is coming to take the green flag. Didn't mean to cut you off there, Neil, but green flag is back in the air here as well. Big time contacts made from Adam Peeler.
Yeah, we're already 10 laps into this. We haven't even got any under green. You know, these guys got to clean it up here, you know. I understand it's a tight bull ring, but it's give and take. They got to show respect. You're going to be racing with these guys all season long.
Lap number 12 here in the LA Coliseum, working lap number 13. Caution flag is out here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel as they head off the banking of turn 4. Caution flag is out for, looks like, going to be Nate Hall in this number 18 modified. We'll back that ass up here for the instant replay before we could even get the motor oil up and going. 3 caution flags here quick and early at the bull ring. Neil, you said it best. Not entirely sure what was going on here. The number 18 down on the bottom side of the racetrack, working down into turn 1 and 2, gets a little bit loose, locks up the brake down on the inside, and gets spun around by the number 72. The weekend woodsman number 18 modified has some damage. He hits the inside wall. Not entirely sure what the hell just happened right there to that number 18.
He tried getting out of the way. He didn't want to cause an issue. I'll give him that.
I do give him the credit there, but we're right on board with the number 18 of Nate Hall here as he goes across the turn 4 exit, sees the green flag. Everybody take off in front of him, and down on the bottom side of the racetrack trying to make that move that he possibly seen maybe Michael Johnson make earlier. Sends him around though.
All right, let's see if these guys can fix this. We're going to be going back green here soon. I really hope they can, because I know we can get some pretty good racing out throughout this race. These guys are great drivers. They're 19 of the best modified drivers here, especially on the West Coast, because we don't see modified racing here on the West Coast.
Green flag back in the air, and whoa, a big wheel spin there from the number 100 of Declan Willis down on the bottom side of the racetrack. More contacts made. Pignataro gets slung around in turn 2. Right as I was getting ready to press the main broadcast cam partner, might as well just keep it on this instant replay cam. Dakota Pignataro involved in the accident here at the LA Coliseum. We'll back that ass up, see if we can't ride around with Dakota. Bam! Hard shot from the number 82 of Cody Klauser into Dakota Pignataro. Since Dakota Pignataro damn near flying off the damn racetrack. A huge shot right there. Riding around with Dakota Pignataro as soon as the green flag dropped right there. Neil didn't even get down into turn 1 and 2. Everybody just a hard check to Klauser. Bulldozes the number 99. So guys being addressed, EOL penalties here going to the tail end of the field. Having a conversation here with the admin. We're going to have to get it wrapped up and going here. 4 caution flags are already in the book and completed. And we are only, looks like, about 19 laps into tonight's scheduled 125 with Dylan Thomas as our leaders. They've had 4 caution flags, for 13 laps. Dylan Thomas making his debut here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel inside of this number 03 modified from Denison, Texas. What a beautiful paint scheme. Dylan Thomas, talked to him in the garage earlier, Neil, and Dylan Thomas told us that when it came to finding a new league and trying to find something to progress and learning with new guys, it was going to be difficult, and he knew that. But look at him out here tonight. The Denison driver from Texas is in the race lead. He's led every lap up to this point, trying to hold on to this modified and avoid the damage.
Yeah, you know, as long as he keeps it under him, you know, he might walk away with this. You know, bunch of cautions here. We're on caution number 4. You know, the laps are ticking down. You know, we only got about 105 laps here to go, so he might be in a good shot here with keeping his tires underneath him.
We'll throw it back up here to the main broadcast cam as they are getting ready to go back racing. If we could ever get some green flag laps and get one of these great I-85 Asphalt Series fast and louds, that would put on one hell of a camera angle for the broadcast cam. The sun is still emerged here from the LA Coliseum. looking here for 125 laps. Was scheduled to go below the sun, but we were rained out last night. Had to reschedule the race for today on Monday night. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night. Neil Wright, want to go ahead and tell them about the late model stock series headed their way on the Booty Scoot Racing channel tomorrow. And it looks like Neil may be dealing with just a tad bit of the driver's down here, so we will take the main off of him here and get the race start up in hand while he controls the race. Green flag is back up in the air as Dylan Thomas brings him down into turns 1 and 2. These guys are going to have to get it. The Schaffner gets absolutely bulldozed by Michael Ponder Jr., but everybody's actually able to hold on to the modifieds this time around. Down into turn 3 and 4. Contacts made from everybody. You're not going to be away. You're not going to be able to avoid the Nerf bar hitting. The wrecks here tonight, Neil.
No, that's for sure. You know, we're gathering a little up. We got a couple green flag laps under us right now. Lap 24. Seems like everyone's spacing themselves out, which is giving us some good green flag hard racing. A couple bumper shots here and then off the corners, but for the most part, these guys are separating us out. I guess the race control guy got underneath their skin a little bit here. We were able to open it up here with some hard green flag laps.
Trying to get some hard flag, green flag laps, excuse me, as these guys continue to run around here at the LA Coliseum and hopefully get some distance between each other. A little Nerf bar smack right there. Neil Rutt from the number 40 of the number 919, excuse me, of Josh 19, of Josh Moore, yes, and Mike Doyle.
Josh Moore seems like he might be having an issue. He can't really get to the bottom and hold that thing on the bottom here. He's also getting a little bit freight trained as he gets further back into the competition. We are approaching lap traffic now, something we have not seen because we've been under caution for so long. So hopefully these guys can get around these lap traffics pretty good.
Lap traffic slowly approaching out the front nose of the 03 modified of Dylan Thomas as you ride around the front cam here at the LA Coliseum. Neil, as they ride around the front cam there, look at the lap traffic being real nice there and getting out of the way for the race leader. How will these guys continue to play it here? And look at that beautiful lap. You've been around the bull rings. Is it more brake than it is throttle play, or is it more saving the temperature in the brakes?
You really want to save the temperature. You know, these brake rotors are ceramic, so they tend to get very hot very quickly. You know, but with the open wheels, you have a lot of airflow coming through, so it does benefit you a lot. But you definitely want to, you know, cool yourself down here, especially with the brake rotors.
Well, Neil, we are 32 laps into tonight's Season 3 kickoff race at the LA Coliseum. Looks like we're finally going to get some green flag laps underneath our belt. Guys are going to be moving and grooving up through the field, trying to save a little bit of Hoosier rubber. I think we throw it on down to the racetrack for tonight's first I-85 Asphalt Series Season 3, Fast and Loud. Caution flag is out here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel at the LA Coliseum for the number 1 of Trenton Johns. He's parked over here in turn 2. Holy cow, in the middle of the Fast and Loud as well. Ends it for us quick and early. We were actually able, Neil, to get some green flag laps though. As we bring up the instant replay here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, trying to get a better look and see exactly what happened to this number 01 of Trenton Johns. He's got already a bent right front tire. He must have collected that outside wall at some point. And he's still trying to work his way around. It's the 919 getting big loose off the corner and pancaking the number 1 of Trenton Johns that outside wall. So we will back that ass up. It looks like it was Josh Moore in this 919 machine, the one that caused the damage here. He was already bulldozing his way through 3 and 4, trying to get out of the way. Big time loose, hard at the outside wall. Goes Trenton Johns, and the 919 gets to walk right through. Trenton Johns parks it right here in turn 2. He's able to get off of the racetrack, though. Whoa, Michael Ponder Jr. barely escaped to get out of the way there. The instant replay cam as we back that ass up for the first time here. and about 12 laps. So I give them 12 laps. That was actually a little bit of a decent run. Looks like we'll get the one to go racing this time around. Neil, what are you hearing from down there? Maybe a single file restart?
I don't know. I hopefully, you know, we can figure this out with these guys. I would love to give them a shot here. Give me 1 second. We have a little bit.
Oh, you're good. You're good, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about this number 92 of Lane Woods. Started 19th here tonight in the main event after going around in that LCQ heat race that he was a part of. Big damage to that 92. His team was able to repair the modified to get it back out on the racetrack, Neil, and he's worked his way back up through the field. He's up 13 spots.
Yeah, a great drive by Lane Woods. Young kid, you know, working his way through, using his real life experience here out on the track. Hopefully he can keep that nose clean as we get back under green here.
Green flag back in the air here in the LA Coliseum, led by the 03 of Dylan Thomas. Zach Evans on the outside, second row field with Peeler and Declan Willis. How do they battle each other down into the banking of turn 3 and 4? One gets turned around. Backwards goes that number 92 of Lane Woods. We give him the announcer James hard on that inside wall. He may have killed that 92 ACR Racing Modified. We'll back that ass up here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel and take a look and see what happened. They were 3 wide back here, some way in the middle portion part of the pack. Not entirely sure what happened there to Lane Woods. He was on the outside up here. Contact made with that 61. And back down here, looks like he just repays the favor. Excuse me, that wasn't the 61. That was Patrick McPeak. Yeah, it was the 61 of Patrick McPeak, so he'll repay the favor quick and early to Lane Woods. We'll back that ass up one more time and take a look and see exactly what happened there and caused the wreck and why the number 61 felt the need that he needed to wreck him. We'll take a look, though, right on board with the number 61 of Patrick McPeak. Everybody getting beat, banging, battered there. There's contact made from Lane Woods right there. Maybe he wouldn't dislike the way that he was raced since the 92 down into turn 3 and 4.
Seems like he didn't he didn't anticipate him to kind of go for a later arc, but we've been watching Lane throughout this race. He's been kind of swinging it. He's a late model guy. They tend to, you know, give bigger arcs, keep the momentum up. I think Patrick just wasn't ready for that, and you know, hard luck. You know, he worked his way back to the field. He's going to get an EOL. You know, hopefully Lane can, you know, rebound from that and work his way back up. We kind of jinxed him there a little bit.
Yeah, we kind of jinxed him there a little bit. Patrick McPeak's just going to have to shake that one off, get it up and going again. We still got a long way to go here tonight, Neil. The lights will be off on top of the pace car as they get ready to head through the Geico restart zone. Hopefully, these guys will manage the restart a little better. Just fill in a line and pick off some laps and try to save a little bit of Hoosier rubber. Who's going to do it the best? We're getting ready to find out. We'll take another lap, though, around the LA Coliseum as Peter the pace car just not wanting to come off the racetrack quite yet. You see these guys down on the bottom of the racetrack trying to use the paint to their advantage, get a little bit of grip, trying to clean off the marbles on top of the Hoosier rover, and we'll see how things shake out here when we get the green flag. It's like with a couple of the wrecks right there, that'll totally shake up this hard charger war that's currently in effect at the moment, being scored to 2 different drivers with 7 positions to their gaining, that being the number 919 of Josh Moore and Chris Schaffner. Great flag back in the air here at the LA Coliseum. Dylan Thomas jumps back down on the gas as they fly down into turn 1 and 2 side by side. Nerf bar, the Nerf bar, trying to make something shake here on lap number 50 of the Coliseum. Nose to tail, big stack up there in turn 3 and 4. Kind of a slinky effect, and whoa, we got another pile up here in turn 3 and 4. Tons of guys are here and they're still wrecking. Parking lot Neil here in turn 1 and 2, and
our flag guy must have been drunk there. He wasn't paying attention.
Holy cow, there's about 14 cars involved. My ticker on the left side of my screen has every single guy registered in some sort of contact made there. We'll back that ass up here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for the instant replay and take a look and see exactly what happened here tonight on that insane wreck. I'm not entirely sure what we were expecting here. It took place down into turn 3 and 4, and I'm just need to get a culprit of who started it. before I go blaming
I think
anybody.
it was Aaron Evans. I think it was the Hooters car. I think he just kind of rode in there a little too deep and just kind of stacked up. But what I am hearing through our headsets is that we will be going single file.
So a single file restart here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel as several guys pile into the turn 2 fence here. I'm not entirely sure what these guys were thinking there. You can only fit about 2 to 3 of these modifieds in that corner at one time. One more time around, and looks like 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 cars involved in the accident right there. Back on the main broadcast cam here, Neil, 7th caution flag here tonight of the Season 3 kickoff race live here at the LA Coliseum. Dylan Thomas is our race leader here tonight from Texas, the big, great state of Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Dylan Thompson looking for a big payday here in the coming weeks if he can win the I-85 Asphalt Series Wheeling Modified Division Dash for Cash. So you heard it from Neil Rutt III, the co-admin here. We will get a single file restart here, trying to clean up a little bit of the racing and get you guys some green flag action on your screen here tonight, live at the LA Coliseum in Los Angeles, California. I am a advocate Dodgers fan, and I've been a fan since I've been a little kid, so you can take this and shove it right where the sun don't shine. Me and Neil were up here earlier. We had a chance to get ourselves a cheeseburger and a Dodger dog, catch the Dodger spring training game earlier tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, looks like I'm here. We will get the Winnebago Racing this time around. The lights jump off on top of the base car. Yes, looks like they will. Dylan Thomas, Zach Evans, Adam Peeler, Declan Willis, Chris Schaffner, Ace Throckmorton, and Michael Johnson will be the top 7 drivers. Neil, when we get ready to take the green flag here in just a moment. It looks like we'll take one more lap around.
Yeah, the single file. It's kind of gonna mix everything up here, you know. We're gonna catch the back of the field relatively quickly. Hopefully, you know, we could teach these guys a lesson and space them out a little bit.
So we'll take the single file restart here. I would imagine that these guys are going to look to try to break out of line as quick as possible, Neil. And if these guys were smart, they would at least try to complete at least one lap, try to get up to speed, see where guys are going to shake and which line they're going to take. So for the first time here in Season 3, we'll get ourselves a single one-sided restart, whatever you want to call it, single file, Neil, is that what they say?
Yeah, single file restart. That's how we're going to go here. We're going to be going on the green.
Green flag is in the air here. Lap number 57 being completed at the LA Coliseum. Everybody working their way down turns 1 and 2, and they do it cleanly now that we are single file. They have to try their hardest now to eat, greet, and rut their way up through the field. Dylan Thomas has the race lead. Zach Evans rolls right behind him. Adam Peeler lurks down in the distance in the 3rd place spot in the number 27 machine. Working off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Nobody else has a chance at that back bumper of the 0-3 of Dylan Thomas right now. He's got about a 4 modified car gap lead right now over Zach Evans. But Neil, if you're still with me, we talked about it earlier in the pre-race. This number 6 of Zach Evans was one of the guys we were looking to talk about this year. We've seen him participate in the late model season last year. This Princeton, North Carolina driver is an advocate for saving tires.
Yeah, he's definitely one of our older school kind of drivers. You know, he doesn't like to use his equipment. He likes to ride around, gather those tires, get them into peak temperature. I mean, Dylan Thomas here pulling away from him just a little bit, but don't worry. I think Zach Evans is going to be there at the end.
Grayson Underwood slowly starting to work his way up through the field here, and so is Lane Woods. Lane Woods been involved in several accidents here tonight. He's been turned around inside of this number 92 ACR modified. He's back up to that 9th place position. He's up 10 spots from where he started, but the top there right now is Zach Evans. He's all over the back bumper of this Dylan Thomas 0-3 machine with this lap traffic, Neil, trying to work their way through it. We got a side-by-side battle right here between this number 27 of Adam Peeler. He's trying to peel his way up through the field.
Yeah, Peeler working around that lap car here. You got Danny Willis, though, coming in strong as the run goes. You know, always watch out for him there. He tends to have a late race charge. He does it a lot with the late models. Getting this green flag running back going here, that's going to open up this field a lot more. You be ready for a couple dive bombs as the runs go by when these guys catch back up to their battles.
Contact being made all throughout the field here. Battle back here with this number 18 modified of Nate Hall. He's scheduled a lap down, 2 laps down, excuse me. Back here battling with Michael Ponder Jr., but the battle for that lucky dog is going to be one to talk about as well. Mike Doyle is going to be a topic to talk about this season. Don't you think, Neil? Is Patrick McPeak, excuse me. Big time loose off the corner there in this number 61.
Yeah, Mike's going to have to, he's going to have to try to get back to Patrick here to get his lap back to be the lucky dog candidate. He's about half a straightaway back, so, he's hoping he can probably catch him with a lap car. That might be a little bit easy for him, but I think his pace is just a little off right now. Got a couple incidents with damage. We're lapping here at a pretty quick pace. So, the battles are coming. I don't know if he's going to be able to get back to him.
And Neil, we are officially way below the halfway point. Contact made right there to the race leader, Dylan Thomas, as this 48 machine will not be denied. He's not trying to lose another lap here. That's Aaron Evans inside of this Whelen modified on the outside. He'll finally have to move out of the groove for the number 03 of Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, Dylan Thomas is looking strong as the race goes. We saw him when just the quick cautions came out, slightly driving away from Zach Evans, but, gets a little bit loose there off of 4. Is his tire starting to wear down? Zach's using a lot of that paint here, trying to get the battles here, but we're catching a big pack of lap cars here.
Catching a big lap of pack cars. You're riding on board the second place driver, the Zach Evans machine. This number 6 modified. It's got some speed in it, Neil. This North Carolina driver makes the trip out west, and he's not going to go home without some sort of trophy here tonight. Looks like he was probably one of the better contenders inside of our fastest laps here when we were qualifying. I don't remember calling his name much inside of the heat race, so he must have been good to his name. Contact made from that lap car.
Yeah, Zach's got that big Fordwick race engine power underneath their hood with all these M&D cars. Fordwick builds these guys pretty fast motors for these modifieds and late models, so they definitely got the old Robert Yates speed here. They're using it to effect, especially with these time trials, with 3 M&D cars in the top 3. Dylan Thomas is saying, it's South Racing, but he is an M&D driver. This is good points day for these drivers.
Neil, look at this number 40 of Michael Johnson out here on the racetrack, working his way back up through the field. Contact's made right there. And caution flag flies on the Booty Scoot Racing channel live here at the LA Coliseum. And don't see anybody spun around. Not entirely sure what the deal was right there. We'll back that ass up. Josh Moore is involved in the accident. Josh Moore is going to be the guy we're looking for here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, trying to make something shake here at the LA Coliseum. He's on the outside of the race leader there, trying to get out of the way. Don't want to cause any kind of trouble. Josh Moore, contact there almost to the race leader, hard on the outside wall. That'll hit again, and he almost comes down in traffic. And it looks like it was good enough to schedule that caution flag as they head down here into 3.
Yeah, it looks like our flag guy might get a little vertigo up there on that scaffold tower here. He might have dropped the flag. It looked like the flag was actually dropped on the track, which caused that caution there for us. It sucks for us, we had some great racing there, but a little miscommunication between the flag guy hitting the track here. Hopefully these guys can get back going here, hard racing. We're going to go back to double file. So hopefully they don't make the race control guy regret that decision.
Definitely don't want the race control guy to regret that decision. We're going, looks like, back to double file restarts here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. You're looking out the tail end of Peter the Pace Car. Look at that sight right there, Neil. We are live here at the LA Coliseum, home of the USC Trojans.
1 second here, Nick, take it away. I have to wet my whistle. My mouth is dry from all this excitement we have going on here.
Indeed, Evans will pull to the outside here. We'll get the one to go racing this time around live at the LA Coliseum on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. You are watching the Season 3 kickoff race of the Whelen Modified Division. Peter the Pace Car getting ready to hang that left down on the pit lane. We'll have to restart here at the California Speedway since they have taken Fontana away from us. Thompson jumps back down on it. We're racing here in California.
Learn their lesson here in tight battles. Everyone's giving and take. A couple bumps here. Oh, we got a caution. Spoke a little too soon.
Caution flag, all kinds of piled up here in the turn 1 and 2, and nobody's on the brake. We're rolling around in front of the racetrack. That's the number 72 of Ace Throckmorton trying to get loose here. Everybody will work around him anyway, so he moved around for nothing. We'll back that ass up here in just a moment and take a look and see what happened to Ace Throckmorton. And we kept the replay cam on for us here after the double file input here, so back in just a moment we'll look we'll get an onboard cam here of Ace Throckmorton, see what happens. Holy shit! What the hell just happened to Chris Schaffner?
A little modified clear from the 27 to the 100, which caused that incident.
Holy cow, did you see the wreck right there up the 22 of Chris Schaffner? He was turned around almost upside down inside of that number 22. Working off the turn 3 and 4.
Definitely went for a ride.
Damn, hard on the inside wall. Contact made from that ACR Racing late model. Ladies and gentlemen, as we count down the caution flag laps here at the LA Coliseum, we'll get the one to go racing next time around as the lights are still flashing above Peter the pace car here. We are going to have the double file restart. 21 guys shook out their modifieds here tonight for a chance to go to victory lane. Right now we have 13 on the lead lap, Neil.
Yeah, 13 on the lead lap. Like you said, when we got going there, we were putting a pretty fast pace of cars, you know, lap down here. You know, we only get lucky dogs, no waiver rounds here. You know, it sucks when they get tied up and they get passed by the pace car, but, you know, it's their own issue. You know, we don't want them wrecking, but, you know, you get wrecked, you know, you got to get back going. You know, great racing though so far. Once we do get some racing here, we are going to be going green here with about 39, 40 laps left. Hopefully we'll have a nice showdown here to the end.
Showdown indeed, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to bring my sunscreen. 72 degrees here as we take the green flag back on lap 88 with 2-mile-per-hour wind. It's not going to affect these modifieds much, Neil, being inside of this Coliseum, not exposed to much wind at all.
No, definitely the dome effect is in effect here. You know, not much wind gusting these cars around. They're not the most aerodynamic race cars out there. You know, with the open sail panels and everything. So wind doesn't really affect them as much as it would like a late model or a cup car or something like that. They're benefiting though from being inside the dome. Makes it nice and loud in here.
Nice and loud. We got a packed out house here tonight for the Season 3 kickoff. We're headed to the Lanier Speedway 2 weeks from now. Live here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for race number 2 of this WHELEN Modified Division Dash for Cash. And Neil, as these guys continue to pick off some green flag laps, getting a little bit of single file here, hopefully these guys can figure it out and keep it underneath the green flag. And I want to go ahead and remind everybody that we're finally doing something crazy here within the I-85 Asphalt Series. We got brand new announcers up here in the booth. Nicholas Maynard, Neil Rutt, we hanging up the driver wheels for the microphones, and the purse is in full effect here. Neil, kind of want to walk them through here. About $190, $200 purse is what I heard in the garage area.
Yeah, give or take as of right now, we got a $190 purse for the tour modifieds, paying out from 1st to 10th. You know, gives them a little bit here, you know, for putting on a show for us, which will definitely, you know, they'll be happy about collecting some money here at the end of the year, but they gotta be in that top 10. That's the key here.
As we bring up our battle box here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, we'll throw it about here to the front of the lead where Declan Willis, Neil, has made his way up here, and he's charging all over this back bumper of the race leader, Dylan Thomas, who's really starting to battle a little bit of a left rear handling condition.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Dylan might have to move a little bit of the brake bias to the front here. It seems like he's got a lot of rear, which is starting to get that car a little bit arcing through the corners, you know, which is stacking it up a little bit. Tends to be using up that right rear, which, you know, he might not be too happy with still about 30 laps to go.
28 laps to go. It's still anybody's ball game. Don't forget, if you didn't get a chance to see the LCQ Heat Race number 2 finish, Michael Johnson threw one of the most hellacious moves I had seen down into turn 3 and 4 here at the Coliseum, Neil. I mean, it was mind-boggling the way that he was really able to get that modified to grip up and work his way around the bottom side of the racetrack to come around for that heat win. And now look at Michael Johnson knocking his way into the top 5.
Yeah, Michael Johnson, definitely a hard charger as this race goes on. Amazing move coming off the last quarter to get that heat race win. Uh, he might not be the fastest guy out there, but as the runs go on, he definitely tends to pick up speeds, following a lot of people, and finds himself in a good rhythm here. We got a little bit of battle there, trying to get by a lap car. Not the best thing you want to see here, but, you know, battle is definitely heating up here with 25 laps to go.
23 laps to go next time around, and Neil, it looks like Zach Evans is all over that back bumper of Declan Willis. He's looking to charge here, and if I'm looking at what I think I'm seeing, Neil, these glowing red rotors in front of these front two modifieds aren't as red as the third place spot of Zach Evans. Can Zach Evans be trying to save a little bit of what he does have left, trying to make a move here in the closing lap as the battle continues here for the race lead at the Coliseum? Oh, caution flag is out here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. I apologize, Neil. Kill Cody Klauser. And the digital number 82 modified is backwards off of turn 2. Give me just a moment here, folks, as we get ready to back that ass up here and take a look and see exactly what happened with Cody Klauser. He is spun around backwards here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We were getting the confirmation that he was going to be A-OK before we show any kind of instant replay. Riding around with Cody Klauser, the caution flag flies here. Not entirely sure what was going on. We were watching that battle for the race lead. In the closing laps, about 20 to go. Looks like the 82 just overcooks it, goes around in front of the traffic. Hard down on the inside wall. And here comes the pace car of Peter the Pace Car. He'll take his ass back out on the racetrack and pace the field here. And we'll back it up one more time, Neil. We're riding around with the number 82 of Cody Klauser. Like he may have cooked it just a little bit too much going into turn 2.
Yeah, just overcooked it a little bit. You know, like we said, those rotors are glowing. These guys could be losing some brake pressure here. Hard hit from Adam Peeler as he spun right in front of him.
That gives us a great time to go ahead and talk about some of the drivers here, Neil, underneath the caution flag. We'll bring it back on the main broadcast cam. Trying to give you guys a flawless, a TikTok live here. We know we've screwed up a little bit here, leaving the replay cam up. We apologize for that. But, Neil, hell of a finish on our way here in the closing laps. We got about 20 laps to go when the green flag flies. Dylan Thomas has been the topic here tonight so far on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and he started on the pole position, Neil, and he's led 105 laps here tonight.
Yeah, Dylan's looking strong here tonight. You know, we're getting to the end of this race here. We're about to go green. Let's see if he can hold on to it.
Willis will be door-to-door with Thomas for the first time here tonight. He's got a little bit of trouble, and Thomas will lose the race lead off turn 2. What a move from Lane Woods, or Declan Willis, excuse me, not Lane Woods. That's one of those ACR Racing modifieds, though. The teammates starting to work their way through here. Caution flag off the exit of turn 3 and 4. No, we're able to keep it green.
Nope, they got it going.
They got it going. What a call from the admin. Keeping the race clean here. These guys are going to have to get it up and moving. 15 laps to go next time around. Neil, what a move there from Declan Willis, able to get around the race leader in Dylan Thomas. Thomas did not come here to lose it in the closing laps. Does he have enough Hoosier rubber late to run down the race leader?
I don't know, Nick. I don't think so. You see a lot of his tires for the past few laps. He was completely sideways. I think he was falling off here. Michael Johnson makes a move into 3rd place. Here, if he gets by the 03, I think he can chase down that 100 of Danny Willis.
I think he can as well, and he's got plenty of time to do it, Neil. 13 laps remain for Michael Johnson in that 3rd place spot as he works around Zach Evans. He's got some of the better lap times on the racetrack right now. Give me just a second, and I will pull those lap times in comparison to the race leader. Michael Johnson will run a 13.20 that last time. A 2.9, and the race leader will run a 13.20. So we'll see how things shake out here in the closing lap. Caution flag off of turn 2. Several guys get spun down into the pit road entrance. Not entirely sure who started it. Evans involved in the accident. We got one doing burnouts inside of the pit lane. That's the number 18 of Nate Halls. Holy cow, folks. Caution flag here late. We'll bring up the instant replay cam here. Neil, kind of talk us what happened there.
I think Grayson Underwood just cooked it by himself. You know, self-spun. I definitely don't think Danny Willis is going to want to see that, especially with his teammates spinning as he had a lead, and I think that's going to hurt Danny. Gets into the back of him.
Damn sure looks like that one's going to absolutely hurt the Underwood machine here. We'll back it up one more time. We're riding around. We're seeing the 0-3 having some handling conditions here late on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. But that one, what we were looking for was Grayson Underwood that started to go backwards here after losing. He got a little bit of help with from Trace Daniel, but some great switch awareness to driving there from the rest of the field, coming around to avoid the wreck. Kind of walk us through what these drivers are down there talking about, knowing that we are knocking on the back door to the checker flag. 118 laps complete this next time around for only 3 lead changes here tonight, Neil.
Yeah, 1 second here. We have a driver that's just going out there collecting his own laps.
As we await from the confirmation from the admin to get his situation back, that is the number 2 of Trace Daniels waving around the field. He'll have to go to the tail end of the field. Working our 11th caution flag here tonight, Dylan Thomas in the 3rd place spot. That 0-3 machine is the most led laps here tonight after starting on the 1st place position. 106 laps here tonight for the 0-3, but he's lost the lead late here, Neil. Michael Johnson, talked about him earlier, made a move to win the heat race. He'll have a chance here late. Declan Willis will be the race leader through the restart zone.
Let's see what we get here. Closing laps, under 8 laps to go.
6 laps to go here at the LA Coliseum. Declan Willis has the race lead. Dylan Thomas in the 2nd place spot. Michael Johnson in the 3rd place spot. Contacts made. Michael Johnson ships Zach Evans, up the racetrack. 5 laps to go this next time around. Dylan Thomas is going to have to put it together here in the closing laps. It'll be 4 laps to go next time around unless he can get himself a caution flag. But well, guys, we're keeping it clean through turn 2, turn 3. Down into turn 4 goes Declan Willis. 4 laps to go here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Does he have enough to close it here tonight? Thomas is putting together an excellent race here tonight. He's led 106 laps here to this point. Michael Johnson leaving here tonight with a heat race win in the number 40, but he's looking for more. Here comes Dakota Pignataro. 3 laps to go, charging in on the back half. He's got a bent left front toe link, but it don't matter. Ace Throckmorton working his way through here. The caution flag flies here in the closing laps. Not what the race leader needed to see. The number 48 goes around here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, triggering the caution flag for the first time in about 8 laps. We couldn't get it all the way through, Neil, just like we thought we could.
Yeah, let's see what we're going to get here. Green white checker at a madhouse track. We're going to see some beating and banging. There's no question about it.
Contact was already made up here in the turn 1 and 2. Aaron Evans was the guy that goes around here on the front straightaway. Not entirely sure exactly how he got turned around and or spun around. We will back that ass up, though, and try to find out for you great people here tonight. We'll back it up one more time. He was already contact made with the 18 there. He was turned around. Let's take a look. Just trying to avoid the wreck, it looks like. Tokyo drifts it around into turn 2, and contacts made from a couple other drivers. They all pile up into that turn 1 pit area. Back here on the main broadcast cam, everybody trying to go to victory lane here in the dash for cash, Neil, and there's only going to be one winner. Looks like we'll head to the green, white, checkered overtime. Neil, do you want to kind of explain to the guys at home how this overtime will work here inside of the I-85 Asphalt Series?
So yes, so we got 2 in the back pocket here for the overtime. We're going to get the green flag, and we will have 2 laps to get back around the field. Green, white, checker, easy as that. We stack them up before the race gets white, we'll go again. If not, the race will be ended.
Pretty clear, cut, and dry. Declan Willis will be the race leader. To the outside of him will be Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson has had a fast modified all night long. 2 attempts at the overtime. Peter the base car will hang the left down on the pit lane. Johnson on the outside, Willis on the inside, green flags in the air for the overtime. Big time loose up the racetrack goes Declan Willis. Was that kind of a strategic move to check the field up? He'll get a big time gap there down into turn 3 and 4. White flag will be in the air. This race is official. Presented by AFLGlobal.com. Contact made from Michael Johnson. He'll ship Dylan Thomas and him up the racetrack. Dylan Thomas will have one shot at Declan Willis, but Declan Willis will work off the exit of turn 3 and 4 and win the opening race here in Season 3. Declan Willis wins it here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and the number 100 modified comes from the back of the pack to work his way up to victory lane. The first win of the year goes to Declan Willis. What a move there in the late race restart. 23 laps led here tonight for Declan Willis. He'll burn it down for you fans here at the LA Coliseum. What a finish there from Declan Willis here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Neil coming back in here. If you ever give you just a moment, Dylan Thomas, second place position. Michael Johnson in the third place spot. Patrick McPeak in the fourth place spot. Dakota Pignataro in the fifth place spot. We got some drivers here on the front straightaway. We'll get him here in for an interview in just a moment. Declan Willis wins the opening race here in Season 3 of the Whelen Modified Division. We'll be back in just a moment with the driver interviews. Welcome back here on the main broadcast cam, live here from the LA Coliseum. It has been a hell of a show here tonight, and I can't even begin to know where to start at, Neil. We are 125 laps in the book, 2 heat races in our belt, and Season 3, race number 1 is complete. Looks like we got a couple guys here getting some driver interviews. Neil will head on down there to pit lane, and ladies and gentlemen, looks like we have our pit reporter down on pit road, and Neil, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, here we got our feature winner, Danny Willis. Great run out of you in your debut of the modifieds. We sure see you in the late models with a couple wins under your belt. You know, you're one of our younger drivers out here. Pretty hard racing, getting yourself to the front there. How would your race end up?
Yeah, try to capitalize off the last season here and try to keep it clean most of the race, just keep the car good, keep it in shape, and came on top.
That's good to hear. Yeah, you were definitely, fighting your way through the field. We were talking about you a lot on the broadcast that you were kind of easing your way through the field to the closing laps. I know you're more of a closer when it comes to the end of these races here. Pretty great stuff out of you. Is there anyone you would like to thank?
Thank the ACR team for getting me all these sponsors and things. And I'd like to thank Ghana Marsh, uh, Simmons Transport, and Premier Karting. That's
Right,
it.
Danny? Sounds good, buddy. It was great having you there. Congratulations. Can't wait to see what you can do tomorrow night in our late model series.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if we can get down here and talk to Dylan Thomas. Dylan Thomas, Neil right in the booth here. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Dylan. Little bumping and beating there towards the end of the race there. What happened in the closing laps between you and the 72?
I'm really not sure. I thought I got the corner good. Then I shot the left rear myself, and I feel like I even shot back.
I got you. Other than that, how was your race for the most part? You know, you led the most laps. You know, it's got to sting a little bit there, losing that one at the end of the race here. But, you know, you put on a good showing here in your debut season in the modified. I know we got you out here for the late models tomorrow night. You know, what are you looking forward to throughout the season?
I felt good throughout most of the race. I think I used my stuff up pretty good throughout the early part. But I'm just glad to be here. It's going to be a fun group to race with, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun, I think.
Sounds good. We love to hear that. Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
All y'all for putting this on and everything on the car.
There you go. Short and sweet, Dylan. Well, thank you for coming out here tonight. Great job on your second place finish. We hope to see you back in this position tomorrow night in the late models.
Thank you.
All right, Nick, I think next up we got Michael Johnson. You want me to take him in or you want to take it out?
I'll interview him. Go ahead and bring him in here. We can ask a couple questions between the both of us. That's cool.
We'll pull him in. We'll see. We got to get you. You know, we got to get you. You know, in your pit reporter status here.
Welcome in, Michael Johnson. How are you? Driving the number 40 modified. Michael Johnson joins us here post-race. Michael, I'm going to start off with my question, at least for my end. That move in heat race number 2 to take the win, by God, that was the best thing I've seen in a long time. Just how did you get that 40 modified to stick down into the corner here at LA?
PSR gave me a really good car, and I knew I had a good setup for especially a short run. And I knew with some of the cautions, my tires were just getting hot, so I just knew that I can drive it down into that corner and trust my car and know that it was going to stick and get around them.
Hell yeah, that was a hell of a move. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Neil, but Michael Johnson, you keep racing the way that you're racing here. Contact just a little bit, got to clean it up just a tad bit. We expect that here at the Madhouse. But that was one hell of a performance here tonight. You got the props from me.
Yeah, I know I caused one of the early accidents, probably around lap 15 or 20. It just locked up the brakes and slid right into the rear end of one of the cars. So I take full responsibility on that one. But yeah, I mean, this is just a simple flat track, short eighth mile or quarter mile track. So beating and banging's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone did all right once we got going. It was just the restarts on these type of tracks.
I mean, it sure looked good out there. That Pace-O-Matic number 40. You know, great run there, battling out to the end there. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, my sponsors, Pace-O-Matic and PSR. Like I said, they gave me a great car. And I do want to shout out all the drivers on the track. Me and Dakota were talking after the race. We had some beating and banging in the heat race. We talked it over, and we had some contact in the future, but we cleaned it up, and we were just ecstatic for a good finish for both of us.
Yep, that's what we like to hear. Well, Michael, thank you for coming. Can't wait to see what you do in the modified in 2 weeks at Lanier.
I appreciate you guys.
Neil, want to go ahead and bring in the next contestant. Guys, welcome in the number 61 of Patrick McPeak. Patty, kind of walk us through your race here tonight at the LA Coliseum. Fan favorite from a lot of the fans here tonight. You got a packed out house here in California. They were ripping and roaring the 61. Contact there early in your heat race. You were leading some laps early here tonight at the LA Coliseum. Kind of walk us through your night here all together.
Well, I figured I was going to be the most hated guy on the racetrack right now because I caused the first caution of the race, and then about another 30 laps in, I caused another one. But I kept on, every single time a caution came up, I started climbing up the field. But I started getting a little bit impatient, made another caution, caused another caution, ended up getting me a lap down, all the way to 13th, and don't know, I ended up getting the lucky dog, but then I want to say around maybe 30 laps to go, after we got the lucky dog, the outside just started pulling, and I just held that outside line, and it got me all the way back up to 6th, and really thought I was going to finish where I started, but I'm pretty, top 5 for me is a win for me.
Yeah,
top 5
you
for
sure
sure.
look good out there. You know, top 5. Sorry for cutting you off there, Nick. You know, top 5 is definitely good in your debut out here. Hey, you know, short track here, you're gonna ruffle some feathers. You know, other than that, though, you kept your nose clean for the most part. You learned from your mistakes, and you brought home a solid top 4 position. You know, you can't take anything away from that. You know, we appreciate, you know, the honesty and all that stuff. Is there anyone you would like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank Grizzly Steel Structures, Nelson Roofing, Nelson Designs, Megawatt Electric, SP Tools, RYR Racing Engines, and KW9 Motorsports.
We like to hear it, buddy. We'll can't wait to see you next time. Hopefully we get you with another good result.
Thank you. You have a good one. Thank y'all for putting this on.
Yep. Take care. Have a good night. All right, Nick, why don't we wrap this up here with our P5 finisher, Dakota Pignataro.
Dakota Pignataro. I'll take this one, Neil. Let me get the first question.
I
Dakota.
know this is your fan favorite.
Fan favorite here up in the booth, Nicholas Maynard here, former driver out there. I know how things get looking over inside of that modified at times. We were on board at times here tonight with the 99 machine. Turned around here several times tonight. Kind of walk us through what you've seen. We know the tensions were flaring and you were throwing that water bottle around inside of the modified and getting the tub all kind of nasty. Kind of walk us through what you experienced here tonight battling back for a top 5.
Yeah, it was a wild one from in the car. From getting turned around multiple times, like you said, to getting monster trucked over like we're at Monster Jam. I don't know what happened throughout that whole race, but I just tried to pick cars off and avoid wrecks was probably the biggest thing, more than anything else. So, I mean, we'll take it, getting back to the top 5. And, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about the race besides it was crazy.
I'll add one more question, and just a quick one here. The Dash for the Cash is on now, officially, with the race 1 being completed here tonight at California. And a top 5 for you. Should be a solid points day, a brand new format inside of here. Kind of walk us through what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge all year long, racing with about, if we keep this field, about 19 modifieds every single 2 weeks for a purse at the end of the year of roughly $200.
I think the biggest thing is going to be consistency will be key. Staying clean and just trying to not make enemies on the track. You make enemies, I think that's going to be the worst thing there is for you. Besides that, I just want to give a shout out to Boardwood Race Engines, Monty Collection, and our 3 designs, and the whole MND crew. But yeah, I look forward to this new points format. I think it'll be better in the long run. Give more people some more chances.
Take it away, Neil.
I don't know if I want to talk to this guy, you know, but you know, it's all love, you know, it was great seeing you out there, you know. Car looks beautiful as always. I know you're in the midst of, you know, debuting a new car. You know, can't wait to see how that looks. Good run, you know. I know you were a lap down for the most part, you know. Things got a little hectic there throughout the run, but you kept your composure and you know, you gathered yourself back up. You know, good performance out of you, and we can't wait to see what you do for the rest of the year.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought we were going to go green for a while once I was a lap down. I got a little concerned, but then I remembered it is the Coliseum after all.
And
All right,
ladies
buddy,
and
yeah.
gentlemen, I'll take it from there. Neil, that'll be the driver of the 99 of Dakota Pignataro, top 5. Great run there tonight, buddy. We'll see you 2 weeks from now at the Lanier Speedway. It looks like we're going to go ahead and get the rest of the night's post-race show kicked off here. Neil, we'll pull up the final results tab here, give it a quick rundown on where guys finished out through the field here tonight, with the points being set within the I-85 Asphalt Series later tonight and posting all over to the Twitter page. I'll pull up the first half of the group here. We'll cut the points off here because those are done manually inside of the league. Neil, I say I'll wrap off the top 10 or 9 or so, and you can do the rest.
If you want 10, I'll get the rest.
10-4. So, ladies and gentlemen, you just watched the Dash for Cash officially kick off here tonight at the LA Coliseum. And Declan Willis will be the ACR Racing number 100 modified first winner of the year here in modified, excuse me, WHELEN modified division. Tonight, though, the Southern Sim Racing number 03 of Dylan Thomas, as I sip my beer here post-race, brings home the second place spot tonight. And Neil, a great run here tonight for Dylan Thomas in this 03 group.
Yeah, you know, it was a great run. You know, kind of led. He led the most laps. He was definitely the car to beat. You know, it sucks for that camp there to lose one when you're so dominant there. Had a little bit of an issue on the last restart with the white flag. You know, race control is going to have to go back and watch that. You know, hard nose racing around this bull ring, but I think it's nothing that they can hang their heads on.
Yeah, Michael Johnson brings home the third place spot here in this number 40 modified. Had a great heat race there, made a move there to win it there. It's one of my fan favorites. They don't actually win the move of tonight. No bonus points there or nothing, but he will win the broadcast move of tonight. The fourth place spot belongs to Patrick McPeak, and his number 61 modified was able to really navigate his way back up through the field. Pignataro scoring that fifth place spot here tonight. And the number 99 for MND Motorsports, Zach Evans rounds out the MND Motorsports again with a top 6 position here tonight. Adam Peeler will triple it up with MND Motorsports here tonight. Neil Rutt, your driver team owner of MND Motorsports. So a couple of these guys chartered entries in here tonight, getting some great entries. Adam Peeler with a top 7 finish.
Yeah, you know, definitely what we like to see out of the MND camp. You know, we try to bring out these hot rods every week we get there. Great looking tracks, great looking cars, great looking drivers. You know, some of these drivers, they may be a looker. You better watch out, ladies. You know, good performance though from our group. You know, great job by Adam Peeler. I know he was running up front there, had a little bit of damage at the end due to the fact of the 82 spinning out in front of him. You know, that happens here, but you know, good gathering up to get in a solid top 10.
A solid top 10 from Adam Peeler went a long way here tonight for the other ACR Racing machine of Lane Woods. Beat around several times here tonight at the California Speedway here in Los Angeles, but he's able to rack up here to score the 8th place finish, and he'll go join victory lane for ACR Racing's Declan Willis as he pulls his number 100 modified down there right now. We'll scoot down here to the 9th place finisher, of the 00 of Mike Doyle for MND Motorsports. He'll bring home the 9th place spot here tonight after getting turned around early. Josh Moore, the 919. Not sure exactly how he done it or how he got through with it, but a top 10 here tonight. Several incidents for the 919, but he's able to salvage one here tonight. And go ahead and take it away, Neil. You can have the 11th place on spot down here tonight.
Yeah, we have P11 Chris Schaffner. At one point, we were looking at this driver's belly pan. Definitely not something that you want to see underneath these modifieds here. It's definitely not a monster truck, but Chris was out there, monster truck in the field here. You know, he definitely worked his way up there. He was running inside the top 10 for most of this race, you know, and then gathered himself back up to finish a solid P11. P12, we got Cody Klausner, another driver relatively new to the league. Didn't get to run so much last year due to the fact of work schedule. Pretty decent night, got in a couple cautions, a self spin. It happens. He didn't listen to our key of the race. He slipped on the paint. Spun himself out, but a solid P12 for Cody Klauser. 13th, this one's gonna sting. Ace Throckmorton, I hope I'm saying your name right. Was running P2 going into the last corner on the last lap and then got contacted by the 03, which is why this race will be under review. You hear it here first, folks. Under review, the final finish. bad outcome, but pretty good race there. Showed a lot of speed throughout practice. Didn't qualify in the top 5 like he wanted to lock himself into the feature event. But he was able to run around up front, battle around, you know, the top 3 for most of this race. You know, and P13 is not where he wants, but we'll have him up front by the end of this year. P14, Aaron Evans, new guy. Caused a couple of issues. Not what we like to see. But, you know, we want to support everyone here, and, you know, given the benefit of the doubt, you know, some guys are new to these modifieds. They don't run them. They run up, you know, cup cars. They decided to, you know, spend a little bit of their pockets to come down and run with us for the modifieds. P14 for him. P15, Nate Hall, Weekend Woodsman, MND modified. Another one of these MND guys. We're filling the fields here, brothers. Great performance out of him. Relatively rookie, and when I mean rookie, he is a rookie. He is new. You know, I'll take it out of him. You know, he stuck it out. He was easy with the lap guys, you know, moving out of their way for the most part. You know, great all-in-all night for him. 16th, Grayson Underwood. He got tangled up by his teammate. A lot of teammate battling out here, you know, wrecking and causing some issues. I know I'm rambling on, and you guys all want to go to bed, and so do I. But guess what? I got a long drive back to New Jersey, and I'm going to be here forever. P17, Trace Daniels. We'll shorten it up here. P18, Michael Ponder Jr. rounding out the field. Nick, what do you feel about tonight? I forgot. There's also Trent Jones. I forgot. He had an MSD box issue also. He lost power. Stopped in the middle of the corner. You know, hopefully we get to see him back here under new power. Now we'll carry it over. Nick, highlights of the night.
Highlights of the night for sure, Woods. The heat races here tonight for sure. I think we had a little bit of a cleaner heat races that we had than we did a little bit of the main event feature. 125 laps was definitely just a quick shootout here when it comes to these quarter-mile racetracks. Beating and banging is what we really anticipated was going to happen between majority of these guys battling Nerf bar to Nerf bar on just a quarter-mile racetrack. We'll head to the Lanier Speedway 2 weeks from now, though, Neil, and I expect a much cleaner racer there, clean race there as we continue to dash for the cash here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, you know, definitely probably have a little bit more cleaner, not as tight as corners. You'll definitely see a couple beating and banging, but, you know, it'll all be out of, you know, who can get the better runs in the center of the corner. Lanier is very tight throughout the corner, so you got to get a good center exit off for the most part, but we should be able to space the field out there. It's a track that a lot of guys run at weekly. You know, that's going to definitely help us as we get through this little short track break that we have here at the beginning of the season.
But the short tracks sometimes turn out to put on the best show, just like we had here tonight at the LA Coliseum, kicking off Season 3 of the Booty Scoot Racing Channel's I-85 Asphalt Series Wheeling Modified Division. Here's tonight's race recap. 130 laps is what it took to climb a winner here tonight in the overtime. Declan Willis wins tonight's race. We've had 12 cautions for 52 laps here tonight with 3 separate lead changes. Everybody heading out of the racetrack here tonight. 72 degrees is what we're calling for here in the terrible state of California. Northeast wind blowing in at 4 miles per hour with a partly cloudy condition. We want to remind everybody here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel that we are not responsible for your DUIs. And what do you say, Neil? I say we go hit the bar, get the hell out of here. We got a long trip to Lanier Speedway, not Lanier, to the North Wilkesboro Speedway, excuse me, tomorrow night for the I-85 Asphalt Series Late Model Stock Division.
Have you been sneaking beers without me? Because you seem a little drunk here. You don't know where we're at.
I'm all over the
We're
place.
in California. We ain't going to go to these bars around here. We're going to hightail our asses back to North Carolina and go hang out with those folks up there. We'll see y'all tomorrow night at North Wilkesboro, and I hope you all had a good night.
Well, everybody have a great night. This will do it for the LA Coliseum. Season 3 is officially on our way here for the I-85 Asphalt Series Wheeling Modified Division. We'll see you 2 weeks from now to kick off Season 2 of the Dash for Cash live here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel. I'm Nicholas Maynard with my co-partner Neil Rutt III. 125 laps decides it. Declan Willis goes to victory lane.